A sudden radio crackle cuts through the calm hum of the cockpit. The co-pilot announces, "We are over Curicó, starting descent." Inside the cabin, passengers settle into their seats, some joking quietly about turbulence. Among them, the Old Christians Club rugby team laughs nervously, unaware of the danger rising outside. The Fairchild FH-227D climbs steadily through the Andes' swirling clouds, its twin turboprop engines humming at cruising altitude. Snow-capped peaks remain hidden beneath the mist, sharp ridges masked by thick gray clouds. The air feels cold even inside the pressurized cabin, and a soft chime from the navigation system echoes faintly as the aircraft passes a waypoint. Flight 571 departed Montevideo with a sense of excitement. Families and friends accompany the rugby players, many eager to witness a match in Santiago. The captain, Colonel Julio Cesar Ferradas, is an experienced pilot, logging thousands of flight hours over challenging terrain. At his side, Lieutenant Colonel Dante Hector Lagura takes the controls under supervision, learning the precise maneuvers required for a high-altitude crossing. The aircraft is loaded close to capacity, with extra luggage and supplies stowed carefully. Every detail of the flight plan has been calculated to avoid the towering Andes peaks, yet the mountain's unpredictability demands constant vigilance. As the plane flies west from Mendoza, Argentina, tension slowly rises in the cockpit. Visibility is limited, and the co-pilot relies on radio navigation to estimate position. Instruments show a course that appears correct, yet the peaks below remain unseen. Passengers feel minor jolts from turbulence, small reminders that the Andes can be unforgiving. The cabin atmosphere shifts from light conversation to quiet focus, a subtle unease settling over the travelers. From a passenger's perspective, the flight feels routine, yet the engine's steady drone is a reminder of the altitude. Soft murmurs ripple through the cabin, punctuated by the occasional rustle of a rugby bag or a zipper. Outside, clouds swirl against a pale blue sky, and the first hints of rocky terrain loom behind a veil of mist. The scene is deceptively calm, but every instrument reading, every pilot adjustment is part of a delicate dance between human skill and natural forces. Flight 571 carries 45 people toward a destination they believe within reach. Excitement, routine, and the hum of machinery fill the cabin. Yet beneath this ordinary journey, the Andes' vast expanse stretches ahead, waiting silently. Within minutes, the carefully charted route will confront the aircraft with challenges beyond preparation, testing crew, passengers, and machine alike. Flight 571 finally lifts off from Mendoza after a weather delay that has kept passengers waiting for hours. The afternoon sky is heavy with clouds, the Andes looming like silent sentinels just beyond visibility. Colonel Ferradas maintains a steady hand on the controls, his years of experience guiding the aircraft along the familiar U-shaped route. Beside him, Lieutenant Colonel Dante Hector Lagura monitors instruments with growing concern. He believes they have safely passed Curicó, the planned turning point toward Santiago. In reality, their position is still over the Andes, the peaks hidden beneath a thick layer of clouds. Inside the cabin, the hum of the engines is punctuated by occasional shudders. Passengers feel the plane rock gently, yet unease begins to spread. Rugby players grip armrests, joking less frequently as turbulence intensifies. The temperature remains stable, but the altitude brings a thin, almost tangible tension. A faint chime echoes from the navigation panel each time the co-pilot adjusts course, a subtle reminder of the aircraft's reliance on precise readings. The route demands exactitude. Flying close to the aircraft's service ceiling of 8,500 meters leaves little margin for error. Peaks rise sharply beneath the cloud cover, some exceeding 6,000 meters. A slight miscalculation could put the aircraft in danger. Instruments display the expected readings, but they depend entirely on Lagura's interpretation. His inexperience at this altitude and terrain adds pressure, as the captain's attention is split between training and monitoring flight conditions. The pilots follow the standard A7 airway, then plan to transition west along the G17 airway toward Curico. Each mile is critical. The plane's fuselage vibrates slightly as gusts buffet the wings. Inside, the passengers' conversation dwindles. A calm cabin turns silent as tension builds subtly. Luggage shifts in overhead compartments, a soft thud here and there reminding everyone of the fragile environment they occupy. Lagora consults the VOR-DME navigation system, attempting to reconcile radio signals with their estimated position. He notes the minutes elapsed and assumes they have passed the turning point. The terrain below remains invisible, the clouds obscuring sharp ridges and glaciers. The captain senses the uncertainty but does not intervene immediately, trusting his trainee while staying ready to correct the course. Every turn, every adjustment is precise, yet even small errors are amplified by the mountains and narrow flight corridor. As Flight 571 approaches the presumed Curico beacon, turbulence grows stronger. The engines hum steadily, but each rise and drop of the fuselage reminds passengers of the invisible peaks below. The aircraft leans slightly into the wind, instruments vibrating. A faint whir of the autopilot engages intermittently, helping to maintain altitude, but the co-pilot's reliance on dead reckoning and radio navigation creates the first cracks in safety. Outside, the Andes remain shrouded, massive and immovable. The plane cuts through clouds, the shadow of mountains never fully revealed. Inside, the cabin braces against forces unseen. Decisions made in these few minutes, small misjudgments and subtle delays, will set the stage for the disaster that awaits. Every glance at the altimeter, every flicker of the instruments, signals the fragile line between safety and catastrophe. A sudden jolt shakes the cockpit. The altimeter needle jumps unexpectedly. Flight 571 begins its descent over the Andes, still 60 kilometers east of the intended waypoint. The pilots, confident they are aligned with the Curico beacon, adjust the controls to lower altitude. Outside, clouds part briefly to reveal jagged ridges rising abruptly from the mountainside. The peaks, hidden until the last moment, loom like unyielding walls. Inside the cabin, passengers notice the plane dipping unnaturally. Rugby players clutch armrests as the engines strain against the descent. A faint metallic groan echoes from the fuselage. The vibration builds, seats shuddering under the weight of sudden motion. A chime from the cockpit signals autopilot corrections, but the aircraft continues its downward trajectory. Captain Ferradas recognizes the danger immediately. He pulls back on the yoke, attempting to climb above the looming terrain. Lagora increases throttle, both pilots straining to respond to the mountains appearing too soon. Despite their efforts, the right wing strikes a rocky outcrop, tearing away with a deafening snap. The tail cone follows moments later, ripped free by the force of impact. The fuselage lurches violently. Passengers are thrown forward. Overhead compartments burst open, sending luggage cascading across the cabin. A sudden crash hammers the interior as rows of seats collapse. Shouts and cries fill the air. Blood and debris scatter along the aisle as immediate fatalities occur. The plane slides uncontrollably, dragging injured survivors across the glacier below. The aircraft descends along the icy slope at speeds reaching 350 kilometers per hour. The cabin vibrates with each contact against rock and ice. The metallic screech of tearing fuselage mixes with the roar of rushing wind. Passengers grip whatever they can, faces pressed against cold metal or blankets, eyes wide with shock. The cold, thin air of the high Andes presses in through broken windows and gaps in the structure, chilling survivors already in terror. The fuselage twists and skids, sliding past jagged ice formations. Seats continue to detach, passengers collide against each other, sustaining injuries from blunt force and sharp edges. The soundscape is a mixture of tearing metal, snapping luggage, and human cries. The aircraft finally comes to rest on the Glacier de las Lágrimas. Silence falls, punctuated only by the faint whistle of wind through the wreckage.
Outside, the Andes rise in silent witness to the destruction. Inside, a few survivors slowly regain awareness, bruised and bloodied amid twisted metal. The cabin is unrecognizable, the once orderly rows of seats now jagged obstacles. The smell of fuel and cold air mingles with the metallic tang of injury. The scale of devastation is immediate and total. In those critical minutes, Flight 571's controlled flight into the mountains turned into catastrophe. Precise timing, instrument misreading, and hidden terrain combined to transform routine descent into one of the most infamous accidents in aviation history. The Glacier cradles the remnants of the aircraft, a frozen testament to the sudden shift from control to chaos.
Survivors of Flight 571 wake to a world of ice and snow. Temperatures plunge well below freezing. The Andes stretch endlessly around them, white and unyielding. Every breath burns the lungs. Every movement is a struggle. The fuselage, twisted and battered, becomes both shelter and prison. Seats and panels are rearranged into crude windbreaks. Blankets, jackets, and bits of insulation are layered for warmth. Water is scarce. Snow is melted over small fires, the steam rising in pale wisps inside the cabin. Each drop is rationed carefully. Hunger gnaws constantly. Chocolate bars, wine, and a few cans of food are consumed slowly, the limited calories barely sustaining life. The faint metallic creak of the fuselage echoes with each movement. Injured passengers shift on jagged remnants of seats, bones bruised, limbs stiff. Medical student Canessa tends to the wounded. Makeshift bandages are fashioned from clothing and scraps. Frostbite and injuries are treated with careful precision. The constant cold slows healing. The injured suffer quietly, shivering under layers of cloth. Outside, the wind howls against the fuselage, a relentless reminder of the danger beyond the metal walls. Days pass without rescue. A chilling realization settles in. The search has been called off. The survivors face impossible choices. They make the unthinkable decision to consume the bodies of those who did not survive. The act is done out of necessity, and it sustains life. The tension in the cabin is heavy, unspoken. Every movement measured against survival. An avalanche strikes, roaring down the mountainside. 8 lives are lost in an instant. The fuselage shakes violently, metal buckles and snow pours inside. Survivors cling to whatever they can, hearts racing, limbs straining against the shifting wreckage. Silence returns gradually, broken only by groans of the injured and the whistle of the wind. Among the group, Fernando Parrado emerges as a figure of determination. He helps organize supplies, encourages others to move and keep warm, and plans for survival beyond the wreck. Decisions are debated collectively. When to move, how to ration, what risk to take in the mountains. Morale fluctuates, hope rises and falls with each day.
As weeks pass, ingenuity becomes essential. Snow is carved into blocks for insulation. Pieces of fuselage are used to block wind. Fires are small, contained, and precious. Eyes grow raw from snow glare, hands cracked from frost, bodies weakened by hunger. Yet the will to survive intensifies. Each day survived is a victory against the harshest environment imaginable. Slowly, the focus shifts from mere survival to rescue. The faintest tracks in the snow, the smallest sign of movement in the distance, rekindle hope. The group's resilience grows, shaped by adversity, pain, and determination. They prepare for the arduous journey that will eventually bring them back to civilization, each step a testament to endurance. A crunch of snow underfoot breaks the cold silence. The wind whistles sharply across the ridge. On 12 December, Nando Parrado and Roberto Canessa begin their desperate journey across the Andes. Their goal is survival and rescue for the remaining 14 passengers. They carry minimal supplies, small rations of chocolate, a few blankets, and the clothes they wear. Every step is laborious. The slopes rise steeply between 30 and 60 degrees, and the altitude robs them of oxygen. Each breath is shallow, each heartbeat loud in their ears.
The terrain is uncharted. They have no maps, no climbing gear, and snow obscures any recognizable landmarks. Rocks and ice shift beneath their feet. Slips and minor falls are constant threats. Their pace is slow but steady. Every movement requires focus and endurance. The cold bites through layers of clothing, and frost forms on their eyelashes. The wind moans through crevices, a constant reminder of the danger surrounding them. As hours turn into days, fatigue accumulates. Blisters form on their hands from gripping jagged rocks. Muscles scream from overexertion. At night, temperatures drop further, and they huddle together to conserve warmth. The psychological strain is as intense as the physical. Doubt creeps in, and hope becomes fragile. Yet the thought of their friends waiting below drives them onward. Snowstorms strike suddenly. Visibility drops to a few meters. Ice coats the slopes, making each step treacherous. They use instinct and memory to navigate, carefully choosing paths that avoid cliffs and hidden crevasses. The sound of shifting snow beneath their feet is constant. Occasionally, distant avalanches rumble down the mountainside, a reminder of the unforgiving terrain.
Over 7 grueling days, Parado and Canessa traverse 54 kilometers of mountain. Each summit reveals another ridge, another challenge. Hunger gnaws constantly, and the thin air leaves them exhausted after minimal exertion. Yet they press forward. Every hill climbed and every step taken is a victory against the Andes' harsh environment. On the final day, they spot movement in the distance. Chilean arriero Sergio Catalan appears on horseback, a figure of hope against the white expanse. Communication is brief but clear. Catalan promises help. Relief floods through Parado and Canessa. The message is carried back to the fuselage. The remaining 14 survivors, weakened and frostbitten, finally know rescue is coming. The trek concludes not with celebration, but with quiet resolve. Parado and Canessa have endured extreme physical and psychological strain. Their journey exemplifies human endurance, determination, and the will to survive. The mountains, once an insurmountable barrier, have been crossed. The survivor's ordeal is nearing its end. In the distance, the Andes remain indifferent, silent and imposing. But for 14 lives, salvation has arrived. The sound of Catalan's horse echoes softly against the snow, carrying hope back to the fuselage. Every frozen breath, every aching step has led to this moment, a bridge between despair and survival. A distant rotor pierces the silence. A sudden shadow sweeps across the icy fuselage. Helicopters arrive at the Glacier de las Lágrimas to retrieve the survivors of Flight 571. Pilots navigate steep ridges and swirling winds, each approach demanding precision and skill. The machines hover over the wreckage, lifting passengers one by one. A soft chime echoes as harnesses click into place, a fragile sound of safety amid devastation. Injured men are carefully loaded, some unable to move on their own, others clutching blankets to preserve what little warmth remains. Inside the fuselage, silence has replaced the chaos. Passengers look outward through shattered windows, snow sparkling under the sun. The reality of their ordeal settles in. Frostbite stiffens fingers and toes, broken bones are supported by improvised splints, and malnutrition leaves cheeks hollow and eyes sunken. Every rescued individual is a testament to endurance. Every step toward the helicopter, a moment of fragile triumph.
As word spreads, the world learns of the miracle of the Andes. News crews recount the story of survival against insurmountable odds. Families and friends respond with relief and disbelief. The narrative of courage and resilience captivates international attention. Parado and Canessa, once exhausted and desperate, are now symbols of determination. Their journey across the mountains has transformed from a struggle for survival into a story of hope. Investigations follow. Official reports identify controlled flight into terrain as the primary cause. Pilot misjudgment, combined with geographic and meteorological challenges, sealed the fate of the aircraft. Every procedural review and flight record is analyzed. The aviation community takes note, incorporating lessons learned into safer practices for mountain flying. The tragedy prompts reflection, ensuring that the circumstances of Flight 571 are studied and understood. Beyond technical findings, the legacy grows. Books recount the survivors' experiences in painstaking detail. Films recreate the events with cinematic precision, emphasizing the human spirit rather than sensationalism. Ethical debates emerge, yet the focus remains on perseverance and decision-making under extreme conditions. Survivor reflections provide insight into the delicate balance between instinct and morality, fear and hope. In hospitals, in media interviews, and in quiet moments, passengers speak of camaraderie, leadership, and resilience. They remember the moments of despair, the grief of lost companions, and the determination to continue. The Andes, once a site of catastrophe, become a place of human triumph. Helicopters carry them away from the ice, but the mountains remain etched in memory, silent witnesses to endurance. Years later, the story continues to inspire. Parado, Canessa, and others share their accounts, emphasizing reflection over rhetoric. The legacy of Flight 571 is not only the survival of 14 men, but the enduring example of courage under extreme adversity. The tale of Flight 571 remains, a somber yet inspiring reminder of human resilience, compassion, and the will to live when hope seems lost. From despair to hope, their story inspires us all. Subscribe and join us in remembering Flight 571.